I know actors get tired of hearing it. They go on an interview tour or they go on their tour after the film, right? They always ask this question: "Well, you playing you?"
Okay, yeah.
And the answer always almost comes back: it's hard not to.
Right.
Because you're calling from yourself. So I don't, when we talk about the intricacies of telling a story, it's interesting because as an actor, you're there, but you're not there. You're actually having an out-of-body experience.
Yeah.
You're there, you're aware that you're there, but you got to be in this character. A lot of times, I like independent films because they come with wanting to tell their story. And the story is has such a dynamic energy to it. They will sacrifice maybe sometimes a huge salary or a salary at all to tell this story. I think everybody is an actor. When you go out into the world, all you do if you go on the stage, I recommend that everybody do at least one role because it helps you to get out of yourself. Take a workshop to study drama, not to become an actor, just to study what it means to put yourself in another person's
or feel,
space.
just to be able to feel.
To have empathy for somebody other than yourself. It gives you that kind of, it's a character builder.
Yeah.
To build
Definitely.
And that's why, I guess I was going kind of back to the niche thing. That's not the only one, but it's for us to start kind of being very perceptive of what are the things that we're kind of niching together as we kind of go along. I know we're not going to figure out today, but that one thing alone was already that step forward into figuring out that niche. What is it that because once we figure out that specific marketing,
even what you were talking about with bringing different people together from different backgrounds with different ages, different nationalities, it's they're helping you to trigger and discover those things. There are certain conversations that we just wouldn't have if we didn't have people that were older. I think there's so many different unique things about our group, but it would just be how does that get added into the niche, with the whole thing of growth, so discovering yourself, that we have a whole different age range, nationality, this, that, and the other, and for the fact that we were strangers to each other, most of us, or you just knew one person, and then that part of the growth, we're growing in intimacy with each other in our relationships, and the deeper that we grow together, the deeper our conversations are, the more intertwined everything becomes.
And then the growth that comes that you can see and feel, because it's you can sit in after when you write it in your own little house by yourself or whatever you're writing, whether it's a playwright, that's a unique experience. But the interaction that you have with people, and there's a growth that takes place that people can tell. It's the difference between somebody, people say practice what you preach.
Yeah.
It's the difference you can see when somebody is practicing, whether it's with their diet or whatever, you can see the growth. It's not just something that you talk about. While we're doing it, we're growing. The dynamic of it is, to me, it's this, even with the other group, I didn't have that kind of relationship with the other writers group that I was with. I didn't have that kind of relationship.
I've never had this.
I've never had it.
I've never had this. I've been looking through this my entire life without knowing. Yeah. Even in certain, because I've been in, I told you guys, I've been in Native American ceremony, so it gets really spiritual, quote unquote. But it always felt a distance. We don't even need hallucinogens or other drugs or anything like that. I feel high being here a lot of times. I really do.
And see, the day I decided, I said, I'm going to make an executive decision right now. I looked through the conversation this week, right? And I wasn't sure what time it was. I said, wait a minute. Now, I wasn't planning, but after the rain, I stood there and I got a chance to talk to some people. And I looked at it, wait a minute, I can make it to the class. I'm just going to make it through this rain. I'm not going home. And I want to be with this group. Anybody would want to be around people who inspire, encourage, uplift, bring things out of them that they may not have thought about. Or
that's the illusion to me, this illusion of diversity. Because, we have diversity of how we might look and things like that, where we came from, but there's still that essence that's the same.
Yeah.
like this because in marketing they talk about back in the day it was more demographic. So then what is becoming the new thing is something, or has been for a while, is now psychographic. Because the person can look different, but they have the same. For example, like I gravitated for a long time things from Zen Buddhism. But like that's not really my culture supposedly, but it is now. So it's like we're still, there's still an essence that's, we can say that we're different, yeah, but we've gravitated to something similar point. And it's like, what is that point?
And we are unique in ourselves because even spirits are unique. But that doesn't separate you from being, that doesn't take away from the sameness. Neither one of them takes away from the other. To me, it's an enhancement. And I think even the word diverse is not a word that I like to use. It's just, but it's like, it's the word that we get, right? I think people sometimes are so afraid of being the same that they feel they're going to lose out on being their unique self, and I don't think you ever can lose that unless you just totally cater to being accepted, that you just gotta force yourself to be accepted as opposed to just being yourself. Well, that's how I had to find myself, even in the midst of my family. But me and my siblings talk about it.